Shabbat shalom, everybody. It'll be okay. It's going to go back up. It's cold in here. Isn't that nice? It's nice for some people. It means that the air conditioning is working, so the president is happy. I think it's not as cold for me as it is for some of you. I can tell you that right now. This is kind of warm. You should think about getting a robe. We have some extras. You should all get some robes. It works. We used to have the choir wearing robes all the time too. So if you want to be in the choir, we'll let you know when the rehearsals are and something like that. Anyway, I like to get the sad things out of the way first, the sad and the bad. So there was a horrible earthquake in the middle of Italy. The death toll is already up to 250. 250 died. There are whole towns that are crumpled. Something that we have now that we did not have before is Google Earth. They did a Google Earth picture where there's a satellite that Google has, and they show the picture of what it looked like last week and what it looks like now. And there are many towns that are half destroyed and 2 towns that are totally destroyed and in the middle of the country. And it's horrible and horrible devastation over there. 250 people. Was everybody okay from yesterday's rains? How many people were driving, watching the rivers go by? Yeah. What were we thinking? But it was horrible. I canceled the class last night. We also had 12 people were killed by gunmen at the American University in the Afghan capital of Kabul, including 7 students, 3 police, and 2 security guards. 44 people were wounded, including 35 students. And so those are things that I wanted to get out of the way as we need to take a moment and remember. We need to take a moment and allow ourselves to feel the sorrow, but we also need to then move on, because on Shabbat the tradition is that we are not supposed to, we're supposed to be able to suspend mourning for Shabbat. It's not easy. It's hard to turn things on and off, but those are some things I wanted to mention before we started. I'll do a commercial in the Torah portion this week. A lot of lines that are really cool to dissect. And so tomorrow we'll have Torah Talk time at 9:45, and I hope you're there. We'll talk a little bit more about the Torah portion, but for now we move on. We are still in the August summer month mode, so if you want to help me, everybody gets to help bless. We decided to do service 3. So we're going to turn to page 82. And we were just commenting on how many things we accomplished this week. Did you have a week of accomplishments? Or did you get a lazy week? So we had a week of lots and lots of accomplishments, but somehow it felt like the to-do list, there's still stuff on that to-do list. I don't know how that happened at the end of the week. So you know my feeling of leaving the to-do list outside the door. It'll be here Saturday night or Sunday morning if you want to come pick it up again. Too much, it won't get too soggy. Just leave it out there. And then take some breaths with me. Everybody take deep breaths. And let it out slowly. I'm going to try another one. Let it out slowly. I was going to point out that 2 people who are sitting with us here today are brand new members, 2 of our newest members. They may not need much of an introduction because they've been coming for a while. So Steve Wright, who's sitting all by himself on that side. It's a good thing he's over there because otherwise we'd topple over. Thank you for balancing us out. Steve, everybody make sure you get to know Steve. And a guy named Mark Kaplan who's sitting next to Margaret. Many of you know him because he grew up here. And we're glad to see him around. But he figured he should be not on a child membership anymore. So he is. He's now a member. So and prisoners who hopefully you will meet. They came last week. You'll meet them. As a matter of fact, we have a meet and greet and eat Shabbat planned for September 9th. I hope everybody comes, another potluck dinner, because we like to eat together. But meanwhile, we turn to page 82. I invite you to please rise, if standing is comfortable for you. And please join me in leading the prayer. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past, and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. I'm going to do this in Hebrew singing it, but if you need to do it in English, please do so. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Nice Shabbat candles. We now turn to page 167 and 166. As we chant the first line in Hebrew and then read the rest in English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love, a reminder of your creative work and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat. L'chaim. You may be seated if you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, and Shabbat Shalom to someone you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Tim. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We turn back to page 83. At the bottom of the page, we read responsively. There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
On Shabbat, we wish not to acquire, but to share.
We need one of these about there are days when we seek to accomplish many things and measure failure by what we do not finish. On Shabbat, we wish not to finish, but to rest. There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery.
There are days when we think only of ourselves.
On Shabbat, we open our hearts to the needs of others.
Therefore, we welcome Shabbat.
Day of rest, day of joy, day of peace.
We welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat. Here they come. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barachuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings, a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace. Its truths are true for all people.
Its
Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Let all the family of Israel hunger for righteousness. All who seek the eternal find God here, and here find life. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמך דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונעתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך,
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, "You cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you." Even so does your goodness pass before us, in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. Let's skip to page 89. Read responsively. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil, do good. Let justice well up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children.
We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me.
We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you, God our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, malachutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, Se'irianu ve'ameru, Adonai Melech, Adonai Melech, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. Time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We give thanks for the night and its rest, and for the promise of peace for all the world. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy.
God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready for you this day and all days.
God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you. In this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God. Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness. You are compassion. We give thanks to you forever. Please join me in the next paragraph. God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ve'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום. We take a moment of silent prayer.
May the words of my
Imre fi vehegyon libi
and the meditations of my heart
lefanecha
be acceptable to you.
lefanecha
Be acceptable to you.
Adonai tzuri tzuri v'goali
My rock and my redeemer,
Adonai tzuri
God, my rock and
Our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating as we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer book. Included If you have other names that you would like to add to our prayers, I invite you to call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts, not say out loud, we pray together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And as we mentioned in the last few weeks, there are a number of people at the base at Barksdale right now who are about to be deployed. There are a few who are coming back. They're being deployed starting any minute now. And many of them are people we now have come to know and love. So this prayer sometimes takes on new meaning when we know people that we keep in our hearts. But we've come to add, Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country in the land of Israel and everywhere they've been called to serve. May they return home safely. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. All right, I don't know how I'm going to start this. I brought this. I've got show and tell. Anybody know what this is? What was this? Pantyhose. Has anybody ever bought legs pantyhose? For somebody else, it's okay with you. Whatever you use it for. It was that guy that we didn't recognize because he was wearing it over his head. Some people use it for that. So what was cool about this? What was nice about this as it came in a little egg, right? And they were called legs, like with the egg and the leg, and that was really cool. Did you notice that the G's are shaped like eggs too? Did you notice that? And it was really cool. When it first came out, it was kind of exciting. You got it, and pantyhose never came in containers that you even want to keep them. I mean, you would put stuff in them. I still have some left over from the good old days with stuff in it, believe it or not pantyhose anymore. So the thing about legs, there's two things about legs that I wanted to tell you. Why this? Why does this have anything to do with this week? The person who designed this logo was my grandfather, and it's his yahrzeit. So he did this packaging. He did other kinds of packaging too, but that was his. Those are his G's, and he did this packaging. So that's one thing. That's why this came up, because what I'm supposed to be talking to you about is advertising. It has something to do with today's Torah portion. It was discussed in the Talmud, although not exactly like this. But there's this rule in advertising that, you know about the sizzle for advertising? What is what? Yeah, it's the sizzle is better than the steak. I mean, if you can convince somebody that, it's going to sizzle, that you can already smell it, and you can, there's going to be smoke, it's going to be really cool. If you can convince somebody that there's something sizzling, there's something really cool about the package, then you buy the product, whether it's the steak or it's the pantyhose. But when you get home and you open the package, it's pantyhose. I'm sorry, pantyhose is not in any of my top 10 lists of favorite things. It is not in my favorite things. But the legs packaging was really cool. And so what does this have anything to do with this week or the Torah portion? In the Talmud, it does talk a little bit about this. It talks about the things that you want to do versus the things that you have to do. And it talks in the context of saying blessings. So one of the things that comes up in this week's Torah portion, there's a line that says, and remember we're still in Moses's, I used to call it swan song, and then recently I started realizing it's more like Moses's valedictorian address. And it's kind of like that. It's like he's sending off all of the children of Israel to go off kind of to college, kind of. We'll talk about what happens when they get their first weekend. Do they get plastered or not? We'll talk about that. But right now, he's still sending them off, and he's giving them guidelines. And one of the guidelines that he says is, V'achalta v'savata u'verachta et Adonai Elohecha. He says, and you will eat, and you will be satisfied, and you will bless God. And so we get a commandment from that, and that is that after you eat and are satisfied, then you have to bless God. So of course the rabbis all debated, what does that mean? How much do you have to eat to be satisfied? I mean, if you're on a diet, do you have to, is it this much? On a diet, could it be this much? What is it that makes you satisfied? And so there's like a kind of a minimum, and you're not supposed to overdo it, and the rabbis have this whole discussion about that. But they also talk then about, obviously, the commandment that comes out of it is that you're supposed to bless a meal after you eat. And so how many people ever think about blessing the meal after they eat? Most of us don't even think about it. And I don't think it's because there are other people around us who say blessings before they eat, because we have blessings we say before we eat. So that's another thing. We have blessings we say before we eat, but here we're commanded to say a blessing after we eat. In the Torah, there is no commandment to say a blessing for food before you eat it. But there is a blessing to say about the food after you eat it. And so the rabbis say, why would that be? I mean, it seems to make... it says uverachta. It says v'achalta, and you ate, and you shall eat. V'savata, and you shall be sated. Uverachta. Verachta is from Baruch. It says, and you shall bless Adonai. So blessing God, that's another whole thing. What does it mean for us to bless God as opposed to God blessing us? We talk about that all the time in blessing things. But anyway, it says that we're supposed to bless God after we eat. And so the rabbis teach us, what does this have to do with advertising and sizzle? Because it does. They say that if it's something that you want to do, we don't have to always be commanded to do it. Sometimes we have to be reminded to do things we don't want to do. So they compare it to another kind of thing. We say a blessing, and we're commanded to say a blessing before we study. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm always glad when I learn something new. Even if it's something I learned before and I'm relearning it, it doesn't matter. When I learn something, I'm glad to learn something. So wouldn't it make sense to say a blessing after you learn a new thing and you say, like, you may not have known this thing about it, and you ate and you were satisfied and you blessed, and you'd say, well, that was a cool thing. Thank you, God, for teaching me something new. It would make sense. But we don't. We have a commandment to bless God before we learn something. And that has to do with the sizzle thing. And that is that sometimes the commandments are there to remind us when we have to be appreciative, when we have to bless God. It makes sense to bless God before we eat, but we have to be reminded and commanded to bless God after we eat. It makes sense to bless God after we've done something wonderful, like learn something new. So we have to be commanded to bless God before we learn something new. So, sizzle. That's all I can say. That's a blessing. What kind of new things do you have to tell us, Mr. President? Yeah, it's not as big, but as the stuff.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Good Shabbos.
Tomorrow we will have Torah Talk from 9:45 to 11 and Shabbat Shmooze from 11 to 12. Hebrew classes for 3rd through 8th grade students begin this Sunday, August 28th. Rabbi Jana's Being Jewish group continues to meet at 7 p.m. on Thursday nights.
We're having a good time.
Upcoming discussions will include things like names of God, what Jews wear, and the choreography of prayer. You're welcome to join at any time. Agudeth Akim Men's Club invites you to listen to Curtis Joseph's band called Easy Money Saturday evening, August 27th. There will be a potluck supper first. Details are in the BZ Bulletin about the cost for the concert and what foods to bring. The Brotherhood is starting a free online fantasy football league. They will hold the draft on Tuesday, September 6th, 7 at B'nai Zion or at Buffalo Wild Wings. Please contact Joe Batt or the office if you want to participate and find out where the draft will be held. Saturday, September 3rd, Torah Talk and Shabbat Shmooze will be led by Max DeBenedetti. Rabbi will be officiating at the wedding of Mary and Mitch Weiss's oldest daughter, Rachel, in Tennessee. Friday, September 9th, we will have Simcha Shabbat and meet and greet and eat Shabbat. We will have another potluck Shabbat dinner after services when we hope to meet all of the new members, prospective members, and the rest of the silver and gold. Make new friends, but keep the old. Contact the office with the number of people in your group and an idea of what food you can bring. Donations were made to B'nai Zion or for pulpit flowers in memory of Neil DeLynn by Debbie DeLynn, in memory of Minnie Lipschitz and Pauline Murov and Ron Neerman and family, in memory of Izzy Toys by Goldie Maris and Sharon Elliott Goldman, in memory of Al Weiner by Sheila Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to add some good news. I don't know if you've heard, but we had many weeks with sad news, but we've got some really wonderful news. I do have one sad news thing, and that is that Kathy Plant's sister-in-law passed away, and they're not going to have a ceremony until Monday, so we can't mention her later. But this week, Natalie Ann Knuckles was born to Ann and Grant Knuckles, and you know, of course, Peggy and Leroy Knuckles, our members. And you've heard him talk about it many, many times from this pulpit, but Corinne Sage Posner was born yesterday to Valerie and Alan. She's now the first grandchild of Connie and Donald. So those are Mazel Tov moments. Everybody is doing well. Mothers, daughters, fathers. I didn't get to go see Corinne, but I did get to go see Natalie. And when I went to see Natalie Knuckles, she was in Grant's arm. You know how big babies are, they fit like this. And he was just sitting there in the chair and holding her. And then this nurse came, and he put the nurse into the bassinet thing, and the nurse started playing with the baby and just checking things, and the baby starts fussing. And she swaddles her by wrapping her, and you'd think that that would make the baby stop fussing. The baby fussed a little bit until she went back into her daddy's arms. It was the sweetest thing. Anyway. Mazel Tov. I'm glad to have Mazel Tovs. That's what you meant, I hope, right? That's all good stuff. We're going to give you more details about things like the food for the... We had a good time at our last potluck supper, so we're looking forward to more. We want to have more opportunities for everybody to get together. So now, we lost him, huh? We had one kid who... Where is he? Right outside? We need him. Is he coming in? I told him about distracting books, but he wanted to just be distracted outside. Is he going to come up?
There he goes.
I need you to open up the ark for me. Parker, will you open the ark for me, please? Thank you. So we're going to turn to page 148. Everybody else is going to stand up while Parker jumps up and help me open up the ark. This is what we needed you for. Thank you, sir. Ready? You take that side. I'll take this side. Open, open. Nice. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And when the ark is closed, you may be seated. I may be wrong, but it looks like you're wearing new shoes for this too. Yes. Yes. From the Sears store? They're really cool. I only thought you were supposed to buy shoes from Selber Brothers or something. Rabbi. He knows I'm being silly. We continue on page 150. The day will come when all shall turn with trust to you, O God, hearkening to your voice, bearing witness to your truth. We pray with all our hearts. Please join me. Let violence be gone. Let the day come soon when evil shall give way to good, when war shall be forgotten, and all at last shall live in freedom. O source of life, may we, created in your image, embrace one another in friendship and in joy. Then shall we be one family, and then shall your sovereignty be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one. Bayom hahu, yireh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. So, it has been a very, very, very long time that I'm grateful to say that we have had to mention names of military casualties. But this week, we lost Staff Sergeant Matthew V. Thompson. He was 28 of Virginia, and he died this week conducting of injuries caused by an improvised explosive device that detonated near his patrol while conducting dismounted operations. We also lost police officer Kenny Motes from the Maryville Police Department in Tennessee. He was shot and killed after responding to a domestic violence call. He had served the Maryville Police Department for 9 years. He was assigned to the 5th Judicial District Drug Task Force. He's survived by his wife and 3 children. May their memories always be a blessing. May we always be grateful for their service. We turn to page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We turn to page 153. In nature's ebb and flow, your eternal law abides. As you are our support in the struggles of life, so also are you our hope in death. In your care, O God, are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Your power gives us strength. Your love comforts us. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts. Fill us with trust in you and turn us again to the tasks of life. And may the memory of our loved ones inspire us to continue their work for the coming of your sovereign rule. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us this past month. We remember Pauline Murov, Elaine Harold. We remember Martin Schneider, Evalude Chapman, and Lori Golder. Sorry, we mentioned her. And as we remember those who are parents of our congregants who passed away this past year, we remember Morris Sommer, Dr. Lowry Vasca, Yvette Bell Sommer, Val Gold, Anna Vinsky, Rhoda Gold, Ira Katz, Delbert Plant, Sandra Barron Weiner, and Dot Kaplan. And we remember those who died at this season in years past as we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing yortsites this week include Reva Baskind and Stanley Baskind, William M. Bronig Sr., Neil E. DeLynn, Lottie Goldstein, Hannah Can Hayes, Helen F. Katzenstein, William R. Law, Minnie Lipschitz, August L. Loeb, Thelma Mills, Margaret Rhodes, Izzy Toys, Norman Martin Trife, Al Weiner, and Ethel Weiss Zielinski. In this moment of memory, sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise, as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on 154. The translation is on 155. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. I'm going to ask the guy who's under the age of 13 to come pop up again. Yeah. I think you're the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Why are you always up here? Because you are so cool that you came to synagogue. And I don't know. I think it's a cool thing to do. Do you want to go back? Or do you want some challah? Okay, good. All right, come on. Stand over here so people can see you. I snuck around the other side. Ready? What do you think's under here? You knew it was challah. All right, you hold the bottom. You're so smart about this. Hold the bottom. You hold that. And we're going to say the blessing. Ready? You know it?
Is that microphone?
It's a microphone. You want to talk into the microphone? All right, we'll do it without the microphone. Let's do. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Guess what? You have to take that. You have to take some of it. Take a bite. And now bring the rest up to your family. Bring him. No, you take it with it like this. There you go. I keep this part, you keep that part.
Look at him. Made out like a bandit.
It's so cool when you come to services. It's really cool. Please rise for the closing benediction. I don't know that that clock is right. For a second, I thought it had stopped altogether. But I'm hoping that we got out early tonight because it is a blessing, though, for us to be together. Thank you for coming when things are joyful in your life, things are difficult in your life. I appreciate that you share it with us all together. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace. Shabbat shalom. Bim bum bim 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 bum bim 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 bum chiri biri biri bim bum bim 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 bum bim 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 bum.